Whoever wants to go.
Yeah.
I got it. My bad.
I'm going to lead off. Says nothing.
Sorry, I didn't know if that meant right off the bat. You know what I mean? Or
This show never has a real intro anyway,
Yeah,
so might as well be it.
My bad. All right, restart. Here we go.
Yelling at pigeons. Nobody listens. Screaming my vision. Yelling at pigeons.
Welcome back, guys. Yelling at Sports. I'm going to be leading today. Luke had an incredible weekend. He was up in Buffalo watching the Bills. Go Bills. And Ohio State won the national championship last night. So he is big claps. Clap it up. Thumbs up.
I know Caleb's really excited to talk about this. Caleb, noted Ohio State. Lover of Ohio State. So very, very excited. Caleb, you want to lead off, or this is just a huge day for you?
No, I mean they were the best team in college football this year. I can't. I said after they lost to Oregon that they were going to beat them and they were probably going to win the national championship. They were just top to bottom, offense, defense, just the best.
Yeah, it's almost weird because it's like as enjoyable as it is, it would almost be more fun if it was like a little bit more debatable. Like if I had someone telling me that they got lucky or something, so I could just argue with them a little bit. As weird as that sounds, but we're so undisputedly just the best team in college football this year, without question.
Yeah.
So just kicking back and enjoying it. We did make the game a little stressful at the end there.
It did, but that's Ryan Day. I think y'all won in spite of Ryan Day, because I still don't think he's a great coach. He's a national champion, but he has his moments.
National champion coach.
He has his moments where he just tries to lose games.
Sure.
He just kind of seems like the biggest douche ever, honestly. I really, I didn't have a dog in the fight. Watched the game, of course. And then I saw a clip this morning, waking up, the girl driving the golf cart. Don't know if you've seen that one.
So
he runs into the wall. And
funny.
Absolutely so pissed off. And it's like, bro
just walk.
Dude, you just won the national championship, and he looks like he's about to beat this one. I was like, at that moment, I'm an Ohio State hater. I hate Ryan Day, and now I hate Ohio State for that sole reason.
No, he. I think he's a good coach. That clip was hilarious. Try to pull it up for the viewers, but no, look, the guy is a national champion. You can't take that away from him. He can't beat Michigan. That sucks, but I'll take that trade if I have to. Maybe some of the Ohio State hardos that actually went there would disagree with me. That's okay.
No, you went there, right?
You have, for sure, sure. They can say that. They have a degree that says otherwise, so that's fine. But I'll take that trade 9 times out of 10. We're talking about a coach who I know shoulda, coulda, woulda, but if we make a field goal against Georgia a couple years ago, it's almost certain we win the national title against TCU, who got wiped. And then here we are a couple years later, actually winning one. The guy wins. I know sometimes he tries to screw it up, but he wins games. He wins football games. And I'm very glad that they didn't jump the gun and fire him or anything. Yeah.
This could also be the rise of Chip Kelly again.
Bring Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Interested to see if he ends up at a different college after this season. If I was him, I'd probably stay there one more year, solidify myself. But obviously, that's his offense, and he cooks some special plays up. So we'll see what happens. I when Chip Kelly was with the Ducks, I was like, this guy could rival Nick Saban, right? He could go on and on and on, and just made some bad career moves. Went to the Eagles. He's not a professional coach. But it'll be interesting to see if he lands a big Power 5 conference job in the near future and what that looks like for him.
Yeah, I think he will for sure. I don't know if, like you said, maybe not this upcoming season, but he has the resume, especially taking that team, which obviously they have 1,000 weapons on offense, but just the offensive scheme he had. There was a stat. It was they had 4 drives, all ended in touchdowns, and they had 300 yards on them. on
that's
every
crazy.
total. Like,
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
You also have to wonder how bad does he want that? What school would it take for him to do that? Because he did just leave a big school.
I got
now,
the
granted,
vibes here
UCLA
for you.
wasn't going well, but yeah, I wonder what school it would take for him to maybe consider that.
Vibes are telling me Lincoln Riley has another bad year. He is the USC head coach heading into 2026.
Okay.
Chip Kelly to UFC. Yeah, he's going to be fighting.
You go to the UFC.
USC.
That would be awesome.
Chip Kelly versus
Chip
John
Kelly.
Jones Bones.
Yo.
John
He beats John Jones. Oh my God, with the greatest offensive.
You say John Jones Bones?
I did. I
like that. I like it. It's mixing it up a little
Okay,
bit.
this is getting weird.
Yeah, he
Chip
does
Kelly,
what
USC. I think it has to be one of those top schools. I think he goes out and proves again with Ohio State. People are going to be looking at him like, this is the guy to lead USC back to the promised land. If Sark leaves Texas, something like Texas, even Oklahoma, a team, a blue chip school that has kind of fallen off. I think there's definitely some enticing jobs. It will not be on the level of UCLA. They do have the pipeline down there, obviously in LA, but they're playing second fiddle to USC in that lower half of the country, the West. So I could see him going to USC. I'm gonna put my vibe source on that one. So
I like it.
I have two other options. Florida State. If they have another stinker of a season, that could be one that's out. And
that's a good one.
Has Brian Kelly been fired yet?
No, not to my knowledge.
So if next year he's out, that could be another one where he goes down to LSU.
Yeah,
who's
That's
known
a
for
good one,
having
too.
really good
Let's see
offenses, fun offenses, and Chip Kelly could make his way to the South. I don't know if he'll adopt the Southern accent.
Brian Kelly did.
Family. But I also I can see those two. Those are two big programs, and I think Florida could also be on the table, depending on what happens with them next year.
Florida's a good one. It seems like everybody, all the players at least, are in favor of their head coach. I know DJ Lagway, they were asking him if he was going to transfer, and he said absolutely not. He loves playing there. So Florida State's a great shout. I didn't think about Florida State. Still in the ACC, much easier conference to go, 11-1, 12-0 in. That's a great shout. So vibes are also picking that up as a second choice.
Yeah. The vibes are talking.
Also, people are saying the New York Jets.
Jesus, God,
that would be a
people. I haven't heard anyone else say
Jets move.
I love that. Speaking of the Jets, it looks like they're going to hire Aaron Glenn as their head coach.
Thoughts?
And I put out a tweet as he was getting absolutely dogged by the Commanders. Said he would be a terrible pick. I'm going to leave it up. I'm not a man that deletes his tweets. If he becomes our head coach, I will support him, just as I supported all the quarterbacks we've drafted throughout the years. I will support him. I don't love it. I don't think that this is the job for a first-time GM and a first-time head coach. With that, I really, really hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I get flamed on that a year or two from now. But just the lack of adjustments against a team that has really, two offensive weapons. I just can't get behind it. The Commanders put 45 on the Lions' head. And I know that they were dealing with injuries, but my God, that was a brutal watch. And he does have just connections. He does want the job. So I will support him. I'm obviously going to get the initial excitement, as everyone does when they hire a new coach and new regime, other than when we hired Adam Gase, of course. But I don't love the hire.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not huge on him, but as far I don't understand the fans that just refuse to be optimistic about anything. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, why not? I know it's like, oh, I want to buy in and get my heart broken again, but it's like, I don't know, just do it anyway. If the bad isn't bad, then the good isn't as sweet. You know what I mean? Just
This is
try to
Luke,
enjoy it,
a
at least, and
lifelong
maybe it'll
Bills
work.
fan.
Yeah, like
that. Yeah,
it,
I mean, Luke and I have a pact together. We don't root
Yeah.
against each other's teams because of that. But I mean, when we win that Super Bowl, when I'm turning 65, boys, I mean, we're turning up. We're turning up.
They already knew. Write that one down.
Write that one down. But
no, I think the part of you want them to go like in this age of football and offense. Did you want them to go with like a young guru, or do you like the zigging to the zagging? Like everyone's on offense, so what if we get a guy that can maybe slow those down?
I think.
He didn't this week. But.
I mean, as I've gotten older, I think I've kind of realized that the head coach doesn't really matter in those situations. There are a few exceptions. Obviously, you see Sean McVay. He's the head coach, and he's got one of the most prolific offenses. Kyle Shanahan as well. With that, we need a leader. We need somebody that's going to go in and set a tone. And this is who the New York Jets are. And that's what I want to see. Who he brings in as his coordinator is going to be more important. Obviously, when you look at a lot of the other teams around the United States, you look at the Commanders, Dan Quinn, defensive background, Cliff Kingsbury's cooking, right? Sean McDermott, not an offensive guy. Joe Brady cooking, right? So it's really about who they bring in as their coordinator. There are some names that they link to him. But we'll see where that goes. But it does look like the Jets search is going to come to an end today with him and their GM as well. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's like Hallmark or something of that nature. I probably just
It's going to be a movie with Hallmark running the show.
I hope so, bro. But yeah, it looks like he's got links to Aaron Glenn. He was with the Lions for a bit. He's with the Commanders now. He's their number 2 guy. So we'll see what happens. And I refuse to get too excited or too down in the dumps about stuff like this. I've spent my whole life as an off-season football fan watching multiple drafts and loving the off-season moves. So I just want to see what it translates to and see how they play.
Yeah, I think the best thing is... Go ahead. Sorry.
This could be the one. Like, it's the one that you don't like. Like, I don't know how many of the guys you've liked before, but like, it could be like, oh, this is the one. Like, it's different than what they've done before. So now, I loved Robert. Yeah, I loved Robert Saleh. And I hated Adam Gase. So I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully I'm wrong. Like I said, but it's all about leadership, I think, from the head coach position. So I hope he brings it.
Yeah, leadership, delegate, like being good at delegating to the proper people, and decision making. Those are the 3 most important things with a head coach. I totally agree. They don't have to be a guru at any one thing, but just be a good leader and make good decisions. And that includes who you're bringing in as your coordinator. Little stuff like when to call a timeout. Should you kick it? Should you go for it? But you don't have to be like this QB whisperer or whether it's the defensive side of the ball or whatever it takes. Leadership is the most important thing.
Yeah. How do we feel about I think it's a good pick. My hair is being crazy. How do we feel about the Ben Johnson to the Bears? Like, we don't really know outside of him being an offensive coordinator what he brings to the table. Like, we know that Dan Campbell runs that team, the Lions, but do we believe in that, or do we think it's just the Bears trying to make a splash, and who knows if they're just still going to be the Bears?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good coordinator.
Incredible coordinator.
I think it'll be interesting to see if he can get Caleb to develop and how he can scheme an offense up for Caleb's strengths. I think it seemed like last year a lot of the Bears' offense was not playing towards Caleb's strengths, which led him to getting sacked a lot. To his own fault, obviously, holding on to the ball for too long, things of that nature. But they have an incredible supporting cast around Caleb. So, I think it's a great get for them. I thought McCarthy was going to be their head coach, honestly, when he came out. He looks maybe destined for the Saints now. But
he's gay?
Yeah, came out of the closet.
Wow, yeah. Breaking news.
Breaking news. Well, I figured, he's gay. Caleb paints his fingernails, so I thought it was a great match.
Could have been a good match there.
So, I think it's a good move.
Yeah,
I think so too. I just wanted to be contrary and see.
Yeah,
if he's going to.
Funny enough, this is the opposite of kind of what we just talked about, where this is a guru, but we haven't seen him have to really lead yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bears hired him, I believe, without even doing an interview. But I think this is the right swing to take if you're the Bears. Like he was the big ticket everyone wanted. He is the offensive guy to your supposed to be generational QB. So I like taking a swing on it and hoping that it works. He's obviously, like you said, a great coordinator. So we'll see if he can do it as the lead man in charge.
Yeah.
I think that division is very interesting too. I think it's more wide open than people really kind of think. And I think it's not, obviously now, I mean, I'm not in the boat that it's like super overrated, but going into next season, the Lions have lost both their coordinators. Are the Vikings going to repeat what they did with Sam or with JJ McCarthy? I don't know, right? The Packers probably seem to me just initially to set up the best going into next season for that division, but it's there for the taking. The Bears lost a lot of really close games this year. But I could see that being a very quick turnaround in there, especially if they go for somebody like Ashton Genty in the draft and get their Jahmyr Gibbs. So,
did you watch Bengals mock draft?
Yes.
I watched this one.
That's awesome.
Sources: Bengal YouTube.
Bengal YouTube.
Guys, I just found the Lions' new offensive coordinator. I was looking at their coaching staff, and I expected to come away saying Antoine Randall, who I believe is on the staff,
awesome.
And he is.
Would be awesome.
I would like that, but I found one way better that makes less sense because he's an assistant positions coach, assistant quarterbacks coach, J.T. Barrett, Ohio State legend.
Oh, yeah.
My nomination for offensive coordinator. That would be so electric. I would love that. I would love that so much. I didn't even know he was on the
that would be
electric.
That would be awesome.
It would be incredible. But yeah, that's my nomination.
But yeah, I don't really.
And then give me Kelvin Shepard as their. He's a linebacker coach. Give me him as their D coordinator. Former Buffalo Bills. So clearly, I'm not biased towards either of these guys. I just think they're the best, people for the job.
Yeah,
clearly. Do we want to get into a little bit of a recap of the games this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Like we've talked about coaching moves, but
yeah,
I think that's all on the coaching front right now. It seems. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first game this week was the Chiefs refs versus the Texans, where the Chiefs took down and the refs took down the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
What were your guys' initial thoughts on that?
It's rough. I don't even know why I'm trying. I still have to do after this too.
Luke discovered cigarettes this weekend. No, I think you're right. Like it was. I don't want to say. I mean, it was a ref show, which sucks because like the Chiefs are still good. Like it's not like the Chiefs are a bad team, but that there's a couple calls that were roughing the passer or like roughing on Mahomes that just clearly weren't. Like the one where both the defensive players hit each other's helmets on it was a third down. They hit each other, and then they insult to injury. Here's a 15-yard penalty, first down. Chiefs end up scoring, and then there was the other third down play where he got hit right in the chest, and then the helmet
Will Anderson
hit him right in the chest, and then it kind of slipped up and hit the face mask. There we go, another roughing the passer. They're just getting yards and continuing drives for no reason. Those are drives that ended with points. So you take those away, and it's a much closer game, if not a loss. Because
sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Because the Texans were playing very good defense.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great game all around for the Texans. I thought they were, they kept it close. That's what I thought was going to happen. And they just got beat by the refs. And even D'Amico Ryans came out and said, we knew it was going to be us versus everybody. So it's kind of like, what?
Wait,
Dude,
They
everybody's
said
coming
D'Amico
out this
Ryans
week,
came
Caleb.
out.
Where
Yeah,
have
they're
you
all
been?
coming out.
All the coaches
Dang,
are
I
coming
won't
out.
say it anymore.
This-
He said in his post.
The Chiefs outed D'Amico Ryans. They made him come out.
Jeez, man, I'm outing everybody. Sources vibes.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think the committee maybe should look in the offseason at adding a rule where you cannot, if you're slowing down and going out of bounds, like they have to fix this because Mahomes keeps baiting defenders into getting a penalty because he slows down. Like if you want to get out of bounds, you need to sprint out of bounds.
Yeah,
like you can't be slowing up.
It's the Kenny
I don't know
Pickett
what
fake
the
slide
solution is.
Yeah.
Sort of, but arguably even worse. Like
because he's
it's
getting
very
penalties
similar,
off of
though.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like,
Well,
what happens if he stops on dime and then cuts the other way because the defender's slowing down?
Yeah, like a fake slide, you could still.
Well,
Mahomes
has
maybe
done
not.
that before, where he's slowed up on the sideline and then gotten an extra 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's an unsportsmanlike penalty. I think the easiest thing to do is say this is a 15-yard penalty, from the spot of the foul, and you're not allowed to do that. You look like you're about to give yourself up. We're in the fastest NFL ever. Everybody's full speed. These quarterbacks are going for a slide 2 feet from the defender. The defender's already committing. Oh my God, my chair gave out.
I was going to say, did your chair just break?
The defender is already committing to tackling, and the guy goes for a slide. It's like, what are the defenders supposed to do in that split section or split second? And then, like you said, Kenny Pickett, other guys have done it. Darnold did it his rookie season with the Jets. Like it's all about the quarterback right now, and they have to penalize that. That is so. It's just gaming, right?
Yeah.
They're just kind of cheating basically at this point, and the NFL has to do something about it.
I think even like a 5 yard.
He wasn't out of bounds, right? When he got hit.
Yeah,
he was on his way.
He was on the sideline.
Yeah, that's great. If you're in bounds, it's fair game.
You get hit. You should be able to get hit.
Totally fair game. That's one thing. If you're like, oh, he was out, sure, then it gets a little bit more. It's a little weird. But if you're clearly in bounds, you're in the field of play.
Well,
violent game.
There was a 2 to 3 year period when they took away roughing the passer outside of the pocket, and they said if you're outside of the pocket, you are just as every other player. That should still be the rule. I think I don't know if they put any rules in place to kind of negate that, but it definitely seems that way, right? Yeah. But that 2 or 3 years, quarterbacks got out of the pocket and then knew they were going to get hit, and they should get hit. If you come out of the pocket, you're a running back, you're a wide receiver, you're a tight end, you've got the ball in your hands. You should be able to get hit just like everybody else gets hit. You should not be able to.
Once they pass the line of scrimmage, they're not calling roughing the passer, though. They're calling, obviously.
But what I'm saying,
conduct.
Late hit. Yeah, for sure. And I think my point was there was a 2 to 3 year period where they would get absolutely demolished outside of the pocket and nobody cared because that was the rule. And it should be that across the line of scrimmage too. If you're gonna run, you're gonna get blown up, right? I don't know if they go as far as taking sliding out of the game or something of that nature, but the way that it is now, it's I don't know, it's really frustrating to watch. It sucks. So
yeah, I agree.
But hopefully the Bills can save us. Hopefully the Bills, Josh Allen can save us from seeing another Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl.
Yeah,
which I don't necessarily hate the Chiefs. I think this year has been hard for me to watch them because of the penalties for them and stuff. But I haven't been ever said that I was a noted Chiefs hater. But they're getting annoying.
Yeah, I think last week honestly plays very well into the Bills' hands because obviously a lot of the NFL has been on to the Chiefs getting these penalties. It seems weird, but for D'Amico Ryans to say in his press conference, not to come out, but to say in his press conference, hey, it was us versus everybody. We knew it was going to be like that. I think the Bills, they have to let calls go against Mahomes this week. They have to.
They're under too much heat right now.
They are going to get absolutely demolished if they make the Super Bowl because of some sort of bogus call. it just feels like they have to let the game play.
I actually think they should make sure that I actually forgot who they play this week. They should make the opponent get to the Super Bowl off of a bogus call, just to kind of level it out.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
That way, when the Chiefs
I'm
win
with
the next
that.
2 years after this,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
not.
I don't remember who they play, but I'm sure their fan base would be on board. Like, if it was my team, I'd live with it. I'll take a bogus call to get to the Super Bowl.
For sure. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be a good matchup for sure. So
yeah, I like all the matchups going in.
All two.
I like both the matchups
Yeah.
going into the conference championships, because we had the Commanders Lions, which, man, that's just a game like that just makes me love football even more.
Yeah.
Like, my team's not playing. I was watching with 2 Commanders fans, and I was just sitting there smiling because I just love football.
Yeah, I think I tweeted at one point, I love football.
Yeah,
I just love football.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
It's so fun. Like, it felt like a college football game with the amount of points they were scoring and how fast they were scoring them. And Jaden Daniels is so good.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Have you read about his VR training that he does?
I've not.
So VR training for QBs has been around for not a long time, but I remember hearing about it a few years back. But what he does, and I don't know if they all do this, but apparently his VR training, when he was in the draft process, he was telling teams, like, if you're going to draft me, like, a must that you provide VR training. I'm into VR training. And, excuse me, voice is shot. He turns the speed of the training up to 1.75. So everything's moving faster when he's training in VR. So basically you're running through reps at 1.75 speed in the VR, and then when game day comes around, you're at 1 speed. So the game moves slower, which explains why he looks so calm all the time, and he's never seems to be like under pressure, even when he physically is. Like, everything's moving slower for him. So I think that's a really cool approach to take, using the VR to your advantage and speeding it up specifically.
Maybe we should start VR training for podcasting at 1.75.
Yeah.
No, we should.
1.75.
No, we got to do like 0.5, so it seems slower. So when we come on here, we don't talk for 2 hours. If it was,
that's true.
If it was going 1.75 speed, we talk for 5 hours.
That's true. That's true. But I feel like it would make us think faster, and maybe the process. Wow. See, now I need to be able to think faster. To be able to process things faster, we would be able to get our points across faster.
Okay. All right.
And then,
I see both sides.
Jane Daniels, come on the show and show us how to do it.
Yep. Sponsor the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that was a really fun game. And Terry McLaurin's a dog.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels is a dog. Like, I think they have a chance. Like, I don't know if they can beat either of the teams in the AFC, but a divisional matchup in the conference championship is always so much fun, because and they're also, like, they're teams that are very close to each other, like, distance wise. So, like, fans are going to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be a close game. I think they that Commanders team, obviously they've shocked the world, but there's always, I feel like every year there's always one team that loses on a bye. Obviously, it's less often now because it's only one team that gets a bye in each conference. But, you think back when there was 2 teams getting a bye, felt like one of them would be sleeping going into it with the time off. And it just feels like that's what it was. They got the right matchup. They were able to, take advantage of it. We could be talking about 2 teams, 2 number ones going out as well. I really thought the Texans had a chance to win that game without the penalties. The Eagles, and we'll get to the Ravens soon, but the Eagles and the Ravens both, to me, set up perfectly to play playoff football. And I just don't know, honestly, at this point, who beats the Eagles. And as much as this is a great run, I do like the Commanders a lot. I don't hold any hate towards them because they've been bad for a very long time, just like the Jets. And I've got a few Commanders fans that I kind of root for with them. But this seems like where the bus stops for them to me. I think the Eagles probably come out and dominate this game on the ground.
I agree. My only problem is I've been doubting the Commanders for weeks now, and I don't want to do the thing where I just doubt wrong, and then they finally lose, and I'm like, see, told you. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
But in my heart of hearts, I do feel like history makes it feel like these kind of teams eventually fizzle out. Like they're playing way above their expectations right now, and it's one thing to be above expectations, but we're talking like I think the goal was like maybe they squeak in the playoffs this year coming in, and now here they are in the championship game, and I will be rooting for them. Which I don't have a problem with the Eagles. I actually have always had a weird kind of like I don't know. I like their uniforms; they're not that far away. But the Commanders are just like the what's the word I'm looking for? The scrappy underdog.
Yeah, they're the Cinderella story.
You know what I mean? So I will be rooting for them. But this does feel like a game that could get away from them early.
There have been six seeds to make the conference championships. Does anybody want to guess who they are?
The Jets did it once.
Jets did it in 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
Didn't the Steelers do it as a wild card 1 year?
Steelers did it in 05, 06. Giants have not done it.
Okay.
Seahawks.
Steelers, Jets.
No Seahawks.
Okay. So we got like the more recent ones, yeah.
The Steelers are the oldest, or like the furthest one back.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Bengals were not.
Oh. This is tough because now there's 7 seeds.
Yeah, there are 7
They're the
seeds
7th
now.
seed, aren't they? Or are they?
Yeah, they're 6th.
Okay.
So the Titans in 2019 and 2020 lost to the Chiefs. The Packers in 2010 went on to win the Super Bowl. The Jets lost to the Steelers that same year. Sorry, the Steelers lost the Super Bowl that year. So there's nothing I can brag about. Eagles in 2008 and 2009, like 2008-2009 season, lost to the Cardinals. The Ravens lost to the Steelers in 2008 and 2009. But 2 of those teams have went on to win the Super Bowl, with being the Packers and the Steelers. So,
not unheard of.
Not unheard of. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
What I'm hearing is
there's only been.
Go ahead.
And the Packers beat the Bears, who were a divisional rival. So.
Oh. Is that the double doink game?
No, that was 2010.
Oh, okay.
Doink was 17,
I thought you said 2018. Sorry.
Wait, did you not just say the Steelers also made it and beat the Ravens?
No, they beat the Broncos.
Oh, okay.
When the Ravens made it, the Steelers beat them.
The Steelers. That's
the
right.
2 seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Or maybe the Commanders' defense should all put on VR. Practice for Saquon in like...
Dude, Saquon at 1.7 speed? No chance.
3 times speed.
Do it in like 3, and it won't go well, but then when the game starts, you can be like,
this
slow. Isn't as bad as...
Oh, this is slow, bro.
He doesn't know where he's going. He's taking forever to make his decisions. This is easy.
But if they can get past the Eagles, it's 100 out of 100 teams that have been the 6th seed in the Super Bowl have won.
True.
And so they would have that on their side. And as far as playing the Eagles, they have the Jim Kelly curse on their side.
Oh. Yes.
Those of you that know the Jim Kelly curse.
That's a quarterback who has made it to the Super Bowl and lost, has never been back.
A quarterback who lost their first Super Bowl appearance. The last one to go to another Super Bowl was Jim Kelly, who obviously went to 3 more in a row and lost all of them. But since then, whoever's lost their first Super Bowl appearance at QB has never gone back, which is pretty interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
I think if the Commanders beat the Eagles, there's definitely some value there because the Chiefs are known, and I think the Bills are known enough for them, where there's enough film for them to study. And there's not enough film, I don't think, on the Commanders. They have a completely new team, obviously a new quarterback. They have an advantage in that space where Cliff Kingsbury could cook up a lot in a 2-week span and hopefully implement it. What if the Commanders were the team to take down the Chiefs in this miraculous run? Like, that would be so insane.
Yeah.
That would be pretty crazy. I mean, I would definitely be rooting very hard for them. we would have almost kind of the if they still had their old name, it would kind of be an interesting name matchup.
Oh, it would be. It would be.
I guess it still kind of would be, but
Yeah.
the commander in chief.
Oh, dude, that's what they'd be calling Jaden Daniel if he won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
He would be the
Dude, we
commander
should
in
start writing. That'll be our
Commander-in-Chief.
first article, and we'll write about how he does VR training, and we'll name it the Commander in Chief.
Let's
Commander
start.
in Chief,
Let's
you
start
heard it here
blogging.
first. Why not? Why
Let's
not?
open up a blog. But yeah, I mean, we can jump down to the next game. The Rams and the Eagles got a lot closer at the end than the rest of the game felt. I feel like.
Yeah,
Like-
I didn't watch any of this game. I was tailgating and eating food off of the hood of someone's car.
Yeah, you were.
Oh.
I was having a good time.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the Eagles. I think I said it before the playoffs. Like that, they were a team, much like I said about Ohio State, that top to bottom, offense very good, defense very good, and they're going to be hard to beat. Like they're the team to beat coming out of the NFC. So a little pat on my back. I said it was a hot take, but it was definitely not a hot take. But I said it. Someone had to say it out loud. But yeah, I think they're a very good team. And they're Saquon, like running the ball is so hard to stop. When he can put up 200 yards on you, like what's stopping that?
Yeah.
I'm very terrified of Saquon. I'm like, oh, maybe can this be the year we get past the Chiefs? But it's like, and then even if we do, we probably have to play Saquon.
Yeah.
So scary.
I think I think the Eagles Rams game, like it was shaping up to be like one of those miraculous Rams wins that they've had previous, especially in their Super Bowl run. It was like, are they about to do this again to the Eagles? Like what is happening? Kyron Williams, man, if he could hold on to the ball, we could be talking about the Rams being like 13-4 or 14-3.
Yeah.
That guy fumbles so much, especially in crucial situations. Like his fumble on Sunday, I mean, you could argue cost them the game. I mean, that it switched the momentum so hard. And dude, just hold on to the football. Like how many times do you need to fumble for you to put two hands on the football? I just don't get it. It's like it's kind of frustrating to watch, but Stafford and Nakua almost did it again. So my futures are sad because they lost, but the Eagles, man, they're insane. They have top to bottom, like you said, Caleb, probably one of the best teams in football, and I would argue probably the best team left in football, top to bottom.
Yeah, there is the fear of Jalen Hurts does have a knee injury, which we saw what the Commanders did to them with Kenny Pickett at quarterback. But we also know what the Eagles do with backup quarterbacks in the playoffs. So,
true.
Will there be a Kenny Pickett statue if Jalen Hurts can't go?
I think it should be Tanner McKee.
Yeah.
Should not be.
Imagine a world where Philly has Nick Foles and Kenny Pickett statues outside of their stadium.
Or Tanner McKee. Like either one of them.
Or
like
Tanner McKee.
Whichever one. You have like all these good quarterbacks that have carried you like to the point, and then your backup comes in and just wins it. But I feel like the Eagles always build a good roster, like so that it really doesn't matter who steps in to play quarterback. But yeah, I do like the Eagles in this game, even though I want the Commanders to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luke, do you want to talk about?
On to the next one.
Yeah. Ravens Bills. I was able to go to this game with my brother and Caleb's brother, and it was electric for the first time. We've been going to Bills games for a long time, but we, for whatever reason, have never gone to like the Pinto Ron Pizza Pete tailgate at the.
That's like the big one, right?
Yeah, but we were obviously going to the game, and Yap Matt, you guys may know him. He was on the show. He was going to the game to do content, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be at the Hammers lot." I never knew if you could just go or if you had to have like an invite, and I was like, "Oh, cool, you can get us in." He's like, "Yeah." So we go. We didn't need an invite. You were ready to walk in. I didn't know that. We just didn't know how it worked. It wasn't.
Wait, so for the record, Matt didn't get you in to the.
He didn't know how it worked. Like, to his credit, he didn't know how it worked either. Like, none of us.
Oh, okay.
He had been talking with Tick Pick, and they set him up with the owner of the lot and a text chain, and the guy like invited him to come out and do content on the lot. So I didn't know if it was like an invite only thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we went there and met up with him and ate a bunch of food off of the old Pinto wagon, the hood of the wagon. They were making bacon on a hand saw. It was literally comical, their refusal to use anything that's a legitimate cooking tool. Like, nothing. They were make the food, and then they would just put it on a table in a paint pan, like a roller, and they put it on a table. It's like hot dogs, and then someone just run up. Like, it was all free. You just get a hot dog if you want a hot dog, and then they turn back around to the car and start making pancakes with masonry trowels on top of a shovel.
That's awesome.
It just makes no sense, but it was awesome. Tommy did a bowling ball shot.
Yeah, I
which is a
saw
shot
that
out
video.
of the hole of a bowling ball. Pretty disgusting, but
Especially because doesn't like everybody in the lot do
everyone just, it's going for hours, just constantly. People just taking shots out of the bowling ball.
the herpy bowling ball?
Yeah, the food was pretty good, though. I had a hot dog. I had a pigs in a blanket without the blanket.
So
a hot dog?
There's a pig.
like a little,
No,
like a little
but
smoky.
it was still tiny. Yeah, a little smoky. Dipped it in ranch that we watched the guy make on the hood of the car, homemade ranch.
Wait, they made ranch and not blue cheese?
They made,
Oh.
yeah, that's a good point, but it was for the weenies. Also, it could have been, I don't know. I think it was ranch. It was a white sauce, but I just ate it. I don't know.
Is Luke coming out?
I don't know what they put in that sauce. I'm gonna come out and say that the sauce was good. How
Luke
about
came
that?
out. Luke came out.
Dude's white sauce
But,
is good, heard.
D'Amico Ryans too. You're all in this together. No, the food was good. They had wings, another homemade sauce. We watched them make the sauce on the hood of the car. I didn't get to try the wings though. I did have bar bill, which was amazing as always. And it was electric. We get in the stadium. Ryan Fitzpatrick leads the charge, which was like the best leading of the charge I've ever seen. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like they do the team chant and stuff, and they get a legend of the game to lead the team chant. And it was just so cool. First time going to a playoff game, and I'm so glad I did. It was kind of last minute. Like, I was in Florida on Thursday night when we decided to get the tickets, and I'm like flying home Friday night, and then we left Sunday at like 4:30 in the morning to head to the game. We were gonna try to drive straight back, which would have been insane.
It'd been crazy.
We drove for
we
like
did that when we
yeah, we did, and it was
That was
crazy.
yeah.
Well, you probably
Shout out to PJ for
after the
fucking
game, you're probably just like, I'm so tired for some reason.
Yeah, so tired for some reason. You had to be there, but at least with when we went, Tanner, with PJ and them, at least we left at a decent time. Like, the game wasn't until later, so we left later in the day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Or no, we left the day before.
We left because we stayed the night before the game.
Yeah. So this was unique in the fact that we left that morning at like 4:30
Yeah.
and went straight to the stadium. We stopped at Bar Bill on the way to the stadium and went straight there. I changed out of my driving clothes into my football watching clothes out of Tim Hortons bathroom, and then went straight to the stadium. And I got out and I had this huge bag with like all my winter clothes, and I saw this guy cleaning off his car, and he had Tim Hortons visor. I was like, "Yo, you work there?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Will they let me bring this in?" He's like, "I don't see why not, but I'm not a manager." I was like, "Good enough for me." So I went in there, and
I think if they tried to
tough.
stop you and you explained yourself that you were changing to go to the
yeah,
game,
they would have been fine.
Like,
But
yeah, don't worry about it.
you know me, yeah, they was like,
Respecter
"Okay,
of
go
the
Bills."
rules.
Yeah, but me being an awkward person was hoping to avoid that happening.
You?
Yeah, me. What a shock. But yeah, it was just an incredible atmosphere to be a part of. The stadium, the noise in that stadium on the Lamar fumble when Vaughn picked it up was like, I thought it was going to crumble. I'm like, thank goodness they're building a new one.
Watching it on TV it was loud. So I can't imagine what it was like there.
It was so cool. It was so cool. Somebody around us in our section, I legitimately thought pooped themselves. Like, it smelled so bad. Shout out to whoever that was. He smelled the whole entire game. So that was cool. And but it was cool. And then leaving the stadium, it was the craziest thing. So we're all so excited. You know, the game. We just won this huge game. We're going back to the AFC Championship. First of all, we're walking out, and this girl comes jogging down. Dangerous game in the snow, right? Jogging in the snow.
It's perfect. Perfect texture for running.
Yeah, perfect texture for running. And unfortunately, if you guys don't know, in really cold weather games, some people will bring a piece of cardboard to put under their feet to separate you from the concrete, and you know what I mean? So it keeps your feet a little bit warmer. And somebody had dropped theirs just on their way to the car.
Oh, no.
And this girl's running, and there's a white piece of cardboard.
Oh, no.
Coated with a thin layer of snow. She steps on this board, and I've never seen a more perfectly executed, cartoonish, legs go up from under you fall in my entire life.
You should have caught her.
Yeah. Oh, I got you. No, she steps on this, and
she just lands in Luke's arms.
Boom!
And then they embrace.
Right on her back. Yeah. She was lucky she didn't land on her head. It was bad. She just was a trooper, though. Pops right up. Everyone was trying their best not to laugh. There was like a couple laughs, so we were all just kind of looking at each other. She pops up, runs even faster, twice as fast away. And then once she was far enough where no one could hear us, we all started kind of laughing and joking. And if you're listening to this, we didn't laugh at you. But everyone was, feeling really concerned. And then we get to almost to our car. We're on the road where we parked. We parked far away because we wanted to be able to get out easily because we were planning on driving home, and which worked out great because the traffic was insane and we walked past everybody. And we're walking to our car. I'm wearing my James Cook jersey, because you got to let James cook. And I hear like a window start to go down. And then I hear, yo, let James cook. I'm like, that's just a Bills fan, whatever. I turn to my left to see who it is. Dalvin Cook. Undeniably, instantly, this is Dalvin Cook saying, let James cook.
Oh,
I'm
my
like,
God.
what? So I was like, what's up, man? I walk over there and dap him up. I'm like, let James cook. And then like Jimmy and Tommy dap him. I'm like, what's up, Dalvin? And then he goes, hey, this was the craziest part. He goes, hey, watch this. I might swerve in that corner. Whoa. And I joined in for the whoa part. I don't know if Jimmy and Tommy did. I was so locked in. But the night ended with singing LeAngelo Ball's hit single tweaker with Dalvin Cook in traffic.
Oh, my God.
That's
dude.
awesome.
Like, what a crazy, I texted that story to somebody. I actually don't remember who it was. It might have been the All Madden's group chat. But when I was typing it, I was like, this sounds like I'm describing a weird dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so
Or just
weird.
peels off around the traffic or something.
Yeah. He was swerving and bending that corner in the traffic. It was cool, man. It was really one of the most fun nights I've had in a long time, maybe ever. So,
Yeah.
And we're on to the championship game, so
Yeah.
I'm absolutely pumped.
And that game was awesome. Like, it was a good game to watch as well. Like,
Yeah.
it was a good weekend for football fans. Like,
Yeah.
even if you're me and Tanner and your teams didn't make it that far, like,
I'll-
it was still a lot of fun to watch. And you can't beat that.
I want to toot my own horn here a little bit. When we got to our seats, we got in like as early as they would let us in, and we get there, and I see Mark Andrews warming up in shorts and a sleeveless shirt.
Oh,
And I looked at Tommy. And I told him, I said, look at Mark Andrews trying to convince himself he's not cold. Those are always the players
Yep.
that get affected by the cold the most. I said, look at the Bills players over there. They're all in sweatsuits for the most part. There's a couple, stragglers. But I'm like, they're all in sweatsuits, just getting their warm-up, their pregame warm-up in, because why pretend it's not? It's cold. Just dress warm.
Yeah.
And sure enough, Mark Andrews ended up being a huge difference maker. He had a late fumble, which was a fantastic play by Terrell Bernard. Shout out.
Dog.
And then the drop that would have tied the game,
Yeah.
which lost them the game by dropping the 2-point conversion, which I do want to point out to Ravens fans that keep saying, oh, he lost us to like we were going to win the game and he dropped it. No. There's no guarantee you were going to win
There
the
was still
game.
what,
You
a
were
minute
going to
stop
tie the
left on the game? On the
yeah,
clock?
they left.
You
too
were
much
going to
time.
tie the game. They left way too much time. I was so locked in at the time, so worried that they were going to tie the game. I didn't realize in that moment how good it was that they scored early, but
Yeah.
they were going to leave the Bills with like a minute 40 and 2 timeouts.
Yeah.
That's plenty of time
Way
to go
too
get
much
at
time
least
for
a field
Josh
goal, if
Allen.
not a touchdown.
Yeah.
Way too much time.
That might be too much time for the Bills at that point.
Literally, we
You
might
know
have
what I mean?
scored
Like,
then. We might
yeah,
have also scored too early, and then they would have scored again. Like, who
Yeah.
knows? But,
Yeah.
like, so that drop did lose them the game. A catch would not have necessarily won them the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to see that happen if you're a Ravens fan, but I see way too many people acting like they win the game if he catches that. There's no way of knowing that.
Yeah.
No way of knowing.
But, yeah, this was a great game.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I don't know, I said it to someone, but I can't remember the last time the Ravens converted a 2-point conversion that meant anything.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
Well,
I feel like
play.
every time that they're about to do a 2-point conversion, it fails miserably. Like, they lost to the Steelers a little while back. They were down by a point, scored a touchdown. If they kicked the extra point, they tied it. And instead, they went for 2. Another, like, Lamar missed the throw. And, twice this week where they have a running back who is averaging 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And you only need 2. Like, Derrick Henry, I mean, I've always said that Derrick Henry's not a short yardage back. I feel like every time, like, if you need him to get 5, he's going to get 5. But if you need him to get 2, he's not going to get it. But, like, for one of those plays, like, what are the chances that the Bills hold him in 2 plays to where you have to get 2 yards that he's not going to get any? But, yeah, I feel like they always, like, I've never seen them get a 2-point conversion that means anything.
Don't quote me on this. I think the stat I saw was they were 0 for 5 this year.
Makes sense.
Maybe it was 6, and Derrick Henry did not touch the ball in any of them.
Yeah.
Well, they legitimately have run. I saw a reel on Instagram of 3 plays, and they were all the same 2-point conversion play where they swing out to the side and they try to throw the flat route, and it's been dropped a few times, but it also, like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's frustrating to watch.
In fact, that's the same play they ran on the first 2-point conversion when they were trying to tie it at 21. But Milano was all over it, jumped in front of that. I guess Lamar didn't see him. It was a great play by Milano. But, that was just it's shocking you wouldn't give the ball to Derrick Henry at all. I know you want to have the ball in your best player's hands, but when your second best player is Derrick Henry, like, is that good, it's definitely something to consider.
Yeah. I think this is a good segue for me because I'm going to say vice versa. I think Derrick Henry is your best player. And I think too many times, like, that game is a perfect epitome of they tried to do too much. And some of the plays are, like, in Lamar, his post-game press conference was incredible. The way that he described what happened in his turnovers, and he took full accountability.
Yeah.
But also, like, a lot of times in the NFL, right, a lot of teams, other than probably like 2 or 3, try to establish the run to throw the football. And the Ravens are opposite of that. They need to establish the throw so they can run the football. And they did that on their first drive. I think Lamar went 4 for 4, 5 for 5, something like that. They go down, they score quick, right, throwing the football. The game is yours at that point. Run the football. Like, I don't understand the thought that you're going to go out there and you're going to throw the ball more than you run the ball. And they ended up, for me, watching this whole game, they lost that game because of that. Like, they dominated the second half running the football. They dominated the second half in total. They would have won the game if they ran the football in the first half.
Yep.
They just refused to do that over periods of time in the game. And they continuously lose and they continuously come up short. And this isn't a shot at Lamar. Lamar is a spectacular player. Just as Lamar may have cost them the game, he brought him right back into it, right? Mm-hmm. That final drive was incredible. With that, we all have spoken about it. His wide receivers are more open than anybody's wide receivers in the NFL. Every pass he completed on that final drive, everybody was open by at least 3 to 5 yards, right? So when you establish that run, and I spoke about it when they were playing Pittsburgh, even if you're down by 5, 10, 15, I think I said even 21, like, run the football. You're going to get it back. Yeah. They're down 21 to 10 at halftime because they're doing too much offensively. They run the ball. In the third quarter, they're right back into the game. Yeah. They get 2 stops. Derrick Henry and Justice Hill run the ball 13 times in a row, and they end up with 2 scoring drives. And then they come up short by 2 points because they throw the ball on the 2-point conversion, the first one, and they throw the ball on the second 2-point conversion. You have the best running back in the best running scheme, run the football. It's
I think
it doesn't
Saquon would
make
like to
any
have a
sense to me.
conversation, but um, I also like. I think both of you have said this before, if not one of you. They're worried about Lamar being the hero. Like
I've
there's
said this
been
before.
there's been
Yeah,
too
I've said it.
much
We said it too. Yeah.
there's been too much talk of can Lamar win in the playoffs to the point where it gets to the down to the nitty gritty, and they're like, oh well, then Lamar has to win this game for us. Like we need to
Yeah.
prove that Lamar can win, and Lamar has proved that he can win. Maybe his struggles in the playoff a little bit, like he didn't look awful on Sunday, but I think they're too much in their heads that they're like Lamar needs to be our savior, and
Yeah.
even though we went out and we got Derrick Henry, who is incredible and can run the ball and can get a huge run. Like he could go for 60 yards in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And that's just as good as a deep pass. Why do they feel like they need to prove something to everybody? Like winning football games matters more than who wins the football game for you.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
this
Peyton
is a team
Manning.
sport.
Yeah. Peyton Manning's second Super Bowl, he couldn't throw the ball more than 30 yards.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers that.
Yeah.
He won a Super
Yeah.
Bowl. He has 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Like the Ravens set up so well to dominate every single football game, and they refuse to do it.
It's like
when they get to this spot.
They're like the anti-Eagles, where like they have a great defense, a great run game, but instead of leaning on that run game, they try to force it with their quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think, and to be clear, I don't think Lamar could care any less. I think he would.
Yeah,
hand
no,
it
I think he's
every
fine. He just
play.
wants to win.
Yeah, if that's what they wanted him to do. But I think the coaching staff, for whatever reason, be it subliminal or not, would rather lose than not win by the hands of Lamar, and it's super weird. To your point about the first half, I couldn't find the numbers. If someone knows a website where I can easily access those, I would greatly appreciate it. I was trying to find the carries and yards for Derrick Henry in the first half. I know he only had 21 yards. It felt like he was getting bottled up on every carry in the first half, so I think they got scared and went away from it. They did get a little momentum with some of his carries late because he did finish with a decent stat line. So
he had
not
I
running the ball
remember
enough in the first half. I think they weren't having enough success with it in the first half. Was the real problem.
Well, I think yes, and I don't know what I'd be interested to see the statistics of how many times they threw the ball versus run the ball in the first half compared to what they did in the third quarter. I mean, they put up a stat. He had, I think, 42 yards in the first quarter or the first half. He had 42 yards in the first 8 minutes of the third quarter. So, and a lot of
he had
that,
21
it's like
yards in the first half.
okay. So then he had 21 in the first 3 touches of the second or third quarter. But with that, as we've talked about, or we've spoken about before, it's like, okay, are you run passing? Like, do they know when you're, you know what I mean? Like, are you scheming where it's like obvious what you're doing? Even when you do that, sure, in the first half, maybe they bottled him up a little bit, but you still go back to that well. You still try to get him the ball. And then on top of it, okay, take him out, put Justice Hill in. Justice Hill is very effective out of the backfield running the ball and catching the ball. It just, the first turnover, after rewatching it, they were just on different routes, right? Lamar throws the go route. Bateman breaks his route off short. With that, I think it still gets picked. I mean, even if he throws the go route, it's double coverage.
I think that's why Bateman broke it off, because he's like, Rapp is down there. I'm breaking this off, and I'll be open on the sideline.
Yeah. The second one, Lamar he explained it perfectly. He says, RPO, I know my linemen are past the line of scrimmage. I can't throw the ball at this point. I was trying to do too much, and I squeezed the ball, and the ball fell out of my hands. But with that, you're putting your players in those situations. And I just, even if they bottle him up, he had 21 yards. Maybe he carried the ball 10 times, right? Sure, that's bottled up. I'd still carry it 15 times. I mean, just turning the ball over kills the game. You look at the Rams-Eagles game. I mean, the Rams turned the ball over. The Eagles didn't. The Eagles won. It's okay to punt every now and then. It's okay to do things like that, flip the field, things of that nature. They just were refusing to do that. And at the end of the day, turnovers kill you. The Bills don't turn the ball over, and they won the game.
Yeah, ironically, the Bills kind of did exactly what we are saying the Ravens should have, and that's not force it to be Josh Allen that wins you the game. All they really asked of Josh on Sunday night was to just not turn the ball over and play a clean game, and that's what he did. His numbers aren't staggering. He wasn't like a huge difference maker. We just didn't turn the ball over. The defense showed up for the most part. Late, it got a little scary, but I wanted to mention on that interception by Lamar, because, by the way, why is Lamar the only one saying that Lamar needed to play better? Like, I feel like everyone's coddling Lamar. Those two turnovers are big. You can't have that. He's always turning the ball over in the playoffs, and he's a great player. He's better than that. But I don't understand why he can see that and understand that that needs to not happen. But everyone else, like I saw, even Pat Surtain, I saw tweeted like, "Dang, man, Lamar did everything he could. Couldn't have done any better." I'm like, he could have. He wasn't horrible, but like he could have. He did have 2 bad turnovers. Like that's a big deal. And the interception, fortunately for the Ravens, the Bills didn't score on it. However, there was a phantom hold on a play that would have set up 3rd and 2, I believe. And instead it was 2nd and 12. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I want to share it for anyone that hasn't, because I want to get your take on this. I don't understand how this is a hold, and this has happened to Deion Dawkins several times this year, or at least multiple. This is not the first time I've seen them call this. Give me 1 second to pull this up. I don't understand it at all. To me, this is like exactly how you would teach. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
This is exactly how you would teach to block someone. Like,
can we?
It'll start over.
Okay.
Even the defensive lineman doesn't act like he got held or anything like that.
There's no hold. He just like pushed him down.
He also
with his right
looks
hand.
to slip. It looks like 90 slips a bit.
Yeah, like this has happened before. I would teach this if I was coaching. Yeah. It's perfect.
Also, Deion Dawkins might have the best face mask in the league.
Yes, he does. Custom. It's a 1-of-1. They did a little short video on the making of it. It's a snowflake.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
You see that?
Oh, that's sick.
They had to like send it off to get tested and approved.
Looks like Bane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a little bit. It's really cool. He calls himself the Snowman, so the snow face mask makes
already
sense.
snow.
Yeah, those calls have to go. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's an insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And there was the PI with Trey White and Keon Coleman that was arguable. I know a lot of Ravens fans were mad about that. So I'm not saying it's like the refs were against the Bills. We only had a couple calls. But that's something I've seen happen multiple times now, that type of play with Dawkins, and it really bothers me.
Well, it's bad calls on both sides, and it's frustrating to watch. I mean, when as an unbiased person in this, I thought it was offensive pass interference on Keon Coleman. Mm-hmm. They're battling. He shoves him down. Pretty obvious. Or don't throw the flag, right? Like, if it's such an offensive leak. But that's a horrendous call as well. Yeah. But it's constantly happening in these games. And it's frustrating to watch, right? Like you said, 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 20. And the guy's slipping. The defensive lineman's not even looking for a holding call. He's looking to get back on defense. It's clearly not a foul. And you change the outcome or the rhythm of that drive, which changes the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 3rd and 2 in Baltimore territory without that call.
Yeah.
We're almost certainly, like, there's a really good shot we're at least getting a field goal out of that.
Yeah. If not, yeah.
Yeah.
Not more. So
that was ridiculous.
That it was ridiculous. But I sent you guys the picture. I was at my biggest hater's funeral. Just to make sure they're dead because needed the Ravens to lose. And I'll be a hater. It's loser talk, but
I'm so dumb.
What?
I thought you sent us a picture right now. I was like,
oh no, I sent it the other day. I sent it.
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
Yeah. So it was a lot of joy for me to watch the Ravens lose, and
sure.
Yeah, loser talk. But there only one team can win the Super Bowl, and it's not the Ravens this year, and that makes me happy.
Yeah,
and it would have sucked to have to choose who I wanted to go to the Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Ravens because we know that I would have picked the Chiefs, unfortunately. But
yeah.
Yeah, we have a conference championship week. We have talked about the matchups, but who do we think is going to make it?
Oh man, I think the Bills are a better team. I really do. But obviously these games have gotten weird. And we talked about the ref thing. It is in Arrowhead, so it's hard to say. Obviously, I'm going to roll with the Bills. But it's scary game. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very good game. I think both games are going to be good.
Yeah.
When they played the Bills last, was that in Buffalo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just a second game this season.
Yeah,
I
Mahomes
think
and Allen 4-4 all time against each other.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mahomes in the playoffs has yet to lose to Allen, but 4-4 all time.
Yeah, just hopefully. I mean, the defense just needs to play consistent and consistently good, but it doesn't have to be like lights out because I think the Bills' offense will be able to put up points. So they like to take the ball away, and so hopefully they can get a turnover or two. But I do like the Bills, but you never know with the Chiefs. Like, gun to my head, I'm probably going to go with the Bills, but that's what I got.
Hard to bet. It's hard to bet against Mahomes.
It's hard.
Yeah. I think I'll go look a little contrarian. I don't think this game's close. I think the Bills win by 10 or more, honestly.
Ooh.
I think the Bills are a much better team. I think what we spoke about earlier, D'Amico Ryan's calling out the refs. I don't think that it will be as weird as it's been. And I just think the Bills are a better team. They're not favored right now. I think they're 1.5 point underdogs.
I have 2.
I would hammer that. And I really think the Bills win this game pretty easily, honestly. I just don't. The Chiefs are good. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, they're in the conference championship. But this is the year, I think, if there's any year for the Chiefs to lose. And I think the Bills get it done.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I would have picked Baltimore as well. I talked with a handful of Ravens fans at the tailgate, and it seemed like both fan bases were kind of in agreement that these were the two best teams left in the AFC.
Yeah.
Hopefully that
I agree with that. And then Washington and Philly, I love the Commanders at +6. Like, I don't know if they're going to win it, but I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a one-score game.
Yeah, I love it for being fun to pick, like fun to root for, but if I'm making myself be completely honest with myself, despite the fact that I would like the Commanders to win, I kind of am where Tanner was on the Bills game with this. I think Philly wins it by double digits.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Eagles get the job done too. I think, like what I spoke about earlier, Commanders got the Lions on a bye week. They are playing incredible. They played each other twice this year. Jalen Hurts goes out in the second game. They lose by a field goal. To your point, Caleb, Kenny Pickett kept them in the game. I think they were up 14-0 when he did come in. But with that, he still played well. They still put up nearly 20 points with him as the quarterback. I think the Eagles get the job done. I think it's Bills-Eagles Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just think the Eagles are a little banged up, so it might be a little closer than expected, especially with Quinyon Mitchell being questionable, which messed his shoulder up a little bit. And Washington can put up points, so I think it'll be, like I said, it will be a fun game. I think both these games are going to be a lot of fun, which that's what we want for conference championship weekend.
For sure.
Some housekeeping. We talk about injuries with Philly. For what it's worth, the Bills' best corner, Christian Benford, is in concussion protocol, sustained on the onside kick almost at the very end of the game. Matt Milano, at the time of recording this, there's no update. He left the game on the final drive from the Ravens. So we had Jamarcus Ingram, Dorian Williams, and Cole Bishop on the field for that last drive. 3 backups because Taylor Rapp left the game earlier on. So these are 3 pretty big injuries that we're waiting for updates on, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's going to be good. And guys, I'm so happy you guys are back this week because I don't know if y'all listen, but I feel like it's so hard to talk to yourself for.
I listen.
I only
Shout
got
out to Caleb for.
I only got 45 minutes, but it was a grind.
Yeah,
it was a grind.
I mean, you're doing solo. It's tough.
It's
tough.
hard, yeah.
But you got it out. We got the episodes out. I listened to them both, so I appreciate you getting them out.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Like,
by the time I recorded sports, I was like, wait, I can do this. I can talk.
Yeah,
I can yap. Just gotta just have things to talk.
Yeah, just get on there. Yeah, it's better than not putting anything out.
Yeah, so it was fun. Anything else we want to talk about?
I think that's it.
Hopefully
we have some more things to add to the bingo card next week for NBA. but I haven't. Really,
I was gonna add.
I have not looked at anything NBA.
I saw a fan hit a half court shot, and then I went to add it, and I was like, "Oh, we already got that. We already had it." So
fans always hit.
Waiting for LeBron to spank Bronny, and then we'll be adding on that card.
We need that for sure. But yeah, so I guess we'll talk to y'all next week.
All right, we'll see you. Go Buckeyes, go Bills.
Fireworks.